Hi everyone, welcome to the next diecast. Today I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air Nomad made by Road Tough. Road Tough actually no longer exists because they actually became the current brand that's called Yap Ming Road Signatures. This is actually a really old model. This is actually one of the first 1/18 scale models that was made. 1/18 scale models first started being produced in the late 1980s. Brands such as Maisto, Barago, Majorette, and Road Tough, as you see here, they started making these models around 1988 or 89. I don't know when the exact year of this particular model I have here is. I just know that it was made sometime in the early 90s. You can find this model all over the place online. There's lots of eBay listings for between $20 and $30. It's come in a number of colors, and as I said, it's been made by 3 different brands, so it's been made for quite some time now. It came in this really cool looking turquoise with the matching interior. It also came in a red, a coral, a yellow, all kinds of colors. And despite its age, it still kind of, I guess, serves as a fair contender because no other models of the 57 Nomad have actually been made in 1/18 scale aside from this one, which is kind of cool to see. And kind of weird because it's been made for over 2 decades. You'd think someone else would make a model of that car, but no. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the details here. We'll start with the lights up here. The headlight detailing overall is pretty good on this model. You can see that the lens kind of has a texture to it. The bulbs themselves, they're done as like kind of pegs in the middle, and they look pretty good. This chrome surround that you see around the back of the light, they're done in separate plastic pieces, and they're nicely well applied. They're not loose or anything, which is also nice to see. This Chevrolet V-shaped badge down there, that's actually a separate plastic piece. It isn't just painted on, which is a really, really cool touch. The Chevrolet inscription is done in a matte gold lettering on top there. This front bumper and grille, it's all done as kind of one chrome piece. Doesn't really look that great when you look at it up close because the grille's just kind of done as like a chrome mold. I wish they may have done a little bit more detailing with the mesh, but you can't really ask for a ton of detailing for a model from the 90s. But what is there does look pretty good. This Chevrolet badge down here is done in a sticker, but it's at least centered well. It's not like crooked or anything, which is nice to see. Detailing on the wheels, I would say, is fairly well done. Road Tough did a good job with replicating that same turquoise color on the tires as it is on the body, which looks good. This trim piece you see here, that's actually a separate plastic piece. It's not just painted on in silver or anything like that. And that's good to see that they went to the extra level of detail there. Paint quality, I would say, is very good, especially for an older model. This actually was an authentic paint color for the 1957 Nomad. I don't know the exact name of it, but I do know that it was produced in this exact color scheme. You could also get the real car with a white roof instead of like a body color roof, and you can see that the seats actually have the color of the car on them too, as kind of like an accent trim, which is really cool. The fins are done nice in this kind of white, like rough plastic. Bel Air is actually raised up, as well as this badge back here. It looks like it's a separate piece, but it's actually molded into the white plastic here. It still does look pretty good, though, which is nice to see. All the surrounding window trim is done in silver paint. I don't know if it should be chrome or not, but whatever they did, it does look pretty good. Moving along to the back here, the taillights are just done in this, or just kind of done in this like faded red chrome. They don't really look like true taillights. I wish they were a little bit more detailed there. And there's no license plate bracket either. But what is there does look okay. And the exhaust pipes, although they're there, they're just kind of solid. Like they're not hollowed out or anything. And I think they might be a bit too small as well. I'm kind of nitpicking here just a little bit, but there could be a little bit more detailing there. This trunk latch piece, that actually is a separate piece though from the trunk, which is nice to see. Or from the tailgate, I should say. This model does have full steering. No suspension, though. I don't think Road Tough or Yap Ming usually does suspension on their models. In terms of opening features, you don't get an opening lift gate back here. That's kind of disappointing. And this top part would also open too on the real car. But you can see that they did do a nice job with detailing the rear trunk here. There's kind of a texture, it looks like, to the trunk floor, as well as like the surrounding wheel arches inside there. So that's nice to see. Let's move on to the engine. The hood no longer stays open. That's a better look at it there. Detailing on the engine is actually pretty good. It's made up of several plastic pieces. It isn't just like one mold or anything like that. Detailing on the radiator is pretty good. I don't know if it should be gold or not, but it looks good at least. You can see it says Chevrolet on either side of the main engine block, and you can actually see all the way down to the bottom as well. All the pulleys and wires are in the correct places. It's a very well detailed engine, especially for an older model, which is really cool to see. This piece here does actually spin around. I don't think it should. I'm going to try to look up how that's supposed to be placed, and then I might just take it off and glue it on maybe so it stops moving. That's just kind of another minor defect. Moving on to the interior. Both of the front doors open, because this is actually a two-door station wagon, which is really cool. Detailing on the interior is pretty good. They did a good job with replicating the dashboard color as the same color as the body. Even though the dashboard is plastic, it should actually be made of metal, but they just did it in plastic because it's basically a continuation of the hood and the front of the car into the interior. So it should be made of metal, but the coloring at least looks to match up to the metal parts of the car, which is nice. I can't really complain too much there. Door panel detailing is fairly well done. Looks like the window winders and the locks are a bit too small, but these windows are nice and sturdy. They're not moving anywhere when you try to move them. This silver piece here you can see is coming off a little bit, but the radio buttons and everything are really well done, it looks like. They're not exactly painted, but they are pronounced at least, and they pop out like in kind of a three-dimensional form, which is nice to see. This shifter here, nice and sturdy, isn't loose. Detailing on the seats is very good as well. They kind of have a nice texture to them. The little buttons you can see on either side of the backrest, they're very well pronounced. The seat is done in kind of one mold though, like it doesn't fold or anything, it's just kind of one like plastic piece. But again, it's hard to tell, and it's really a small thing that isn't a problem. There's no headliner or anything. You can see that all like the moldings for the plastic windows are up there. It would have been nice to kind of see a headliner, but again, this is an older model, so detailing isn't really. The pedals do not look that good at all. They're just kind of molded into the floor. They aren't like separate pieces or anything. Looks pretty cheap. I wish they may have done a little bit better detailing there. On the other hand, the steering wheel and gauge clusters though, the shape and everything is very well done. I like how they painted it black and everything. The gauges are done. I can't tell if they're actually stickers or not, the gauges, which is really cool. It isn't just one, and if they are stickers, they're actually 3 separate stickers, one for each gauge. So that's nice to see that level of detail, especially for an older model. The doors close pretty tightly, except there is kind of a gap in between this door here, as you can tell. Undercarriage detail, I would say, is overall very good. Instead of just chrome exhaust pipes, they decided to just paint them silver. And that does add to the authenticity. And chrome looks a lot less realistic than silver painted exhaust pipes. All the engine detail you can see in there, and that's the hood actually opening, as you can see here. That's really cool to see that they made a 3D engine. The steering system, when I got it, it had a split in it, so I had to kind of put a piece of masking tape on there to keep it from, I guess, breaking or anything like that. So you might want to be careful with that if you get a version of this model. This is a very good model overall, especially for its age. If you're looking to add a Nomad to your collection, I would definitely recommend adding this one. And if you're a fan of, station wagons, 1950s cars, etc., then this would be a good model to add to your collection. I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.